so I started being an office manager there and just kind of fell in love with the product and the process. And I really like understanding codes and regulations and zoning. So that's, how I started working in this industry. There's something that I've seen, like a lot of Lifehouse is connected to my spiritual journey. And I've never really had this idea in my head that this is all about making money. Obviously, you got to take care of your family, right? But this is about how do I provide value to the community?
Time frame expectations.
Right.
Some people will, oh yeah, permits, I can get them done in 2 weeks, no problem, easy peasy. I'm like, yeah, bro, it's okay.
Yeah.
And then somebody else is like, hey, listen, this is how long it's really taking.
Yeah.
Then not only is it going to take this, but there's chances the city's going to come back and they're going to have some change orders, make some updates, whatever clarifications. Yeah. Then I got to go back to the architect, their draftsman, and they got to make their changes on this. They're going to charge another fee, and then I have to go back to the city, and that's another waiting period.
Yeah.
Right. And they just think it's like a one-time submittal. Oh, some changes. Let me scratch some notes. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm stamped. I'll go ahead and go build.
Yeah.
It's not that easy.
Right.
But it's also kind of funny in the opposite end where people think it's super scary.
Yeah.
But if you have someone that's the intermediary walking you through that process,
right,
it takes a lot of that guesswork away.
Right.
That's the aha moment, just so you understand.
Right.
This is me myself. Like, if I had to fix this situation, what would I have done different? Man, I really need a person that would be able to help facilitate all this stuff for me and put it in one spot.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you could do that. You take that with any situation and be like, well, yeah, I need one person to help me resolve this big issue. Yeah. I mean, that's everybody wants that. But as far as the scary part, yeah, it is scary thinking about, I got to drop this amount of money on this project and I got to trust all these people to, do what I want them to do with money, So there's a scarcity of it. But what my team is doing is we're telling our clients up front, this is the entirety of the situation. And we are telling them that there are, nothing perfect. There's no project that just like everything just went perfectly fine. We're telling them all that, but we're also telling them that we're the experts and we have people like you, other people in the real estate community. Like I have structural engineers I can just call up and say, hey, what do you think about this? And so it's a whole team of people that I'm working with, but the client is just talking to me.
Yeah.
So I'm not the expert in structural, but I have direct access to, a structural engineer.
Yeah.
That's an expert, you know? So that's the big picture is like, okay, well, instead of trying to figure all this out on my own, let's let CJ, quarterback this whole project. Yeah. Because he has all the resources and the people that have been in the industry.
I like the way you kind of frame that, because if you look at you as the kind of quarterback, the still the homeowner that's doing the process of they're like the owner of the team.
Right.
So the owner of the team is not the coach, is not calling the plays. They know what the intent is.
Yeah.
They have these players playing together, but being the quarterback is so important because you're taking that football and you're handing it off to the draftsman making changes, to the contract making changes, to the city getting the permits pushed through, and then going back and liaisoning that back to the owner.
Yep.
So they say, okay, are we tracking?
Yep.
Are we doing what your intent is? Cool. Are we off? And then many times, I find it with contractors, they're really good at, banging a hammer with a nail. And that's what they love to do. Horrible paperwork.
Yeah.
It's not to bag on any contractors, but
typical. I love contractors. I work with contractors.
I've actually had a couple of experiences with some guys that actually on point.
Yeah.
But so told me that's why I don't go out to the field.
Yeah.
I'm in the office and my guys are out there.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but the majority of guys don't operate like that.
Yeah.
And then on the opposite end, for the architect side, I kind of get some of the game. They love them change orders.
Yeah.
They get to charge that extra little fee.
Yeah.
And you're like, why didn't we do this the first time?
Yeah.
It's such a basic little thing.
Yeah.
Or they like to design the Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, we're gonna do a third story viewing deck. and then we're gonna
that's their thing though. Like if you think about it, they went to school, they see all this, instructions and understandings of how to design something, so they want to exercise that, their passion, right? And so to dial it back, it's good to have someone as a mediator saying, hey, we don't actually have to build the Taj Mahal here. This is an ADU,
right?
And we're putting it on a market for cat.
I think it's funny that you say that, because I think if you approached the architect to say, here's the limited space we're dealing with, and here's the limited budget we're dealing with, help me get creative to make this a really usable space.
Yeah.
And then you start having that part take place, because if you have and I've seen this before, it looks great, where you have those nice roll-up garage doors that have the panels, the glass that's like frosted.
Yeah.
And then they have those Murphy beds that plop out, and it's all custom cabinetry and looks super clean and sleek.
Yeah.
You're like, man, this is 300 square feet.
We're actually doing a project in Barrio Logan right now with my buddy Keegan. Shout out to Keegan. It's garage conversions on the bottom and then an ADU on the top.
Okay.
And we had to get creative because those are small spaces.
Yeah.
We're taking 4 garages and turning them into 2 ADUs. It's about 400 square feet each. And we're doing a garage on top. But in those spaces, we had to get creative with the windows. We're gonna put some frost over the windows to give it some light in, but also some privacy at the same time, right? And that space is small. We're gonna have to get creative with Murphy beds, But if you're an up and coming, millennial or whatever generations after that, student,
whatever,
you're like, man, this is my space, and I'm walking distance from breweries and brunches, and
right.
it's Barrio Logan's nice, now it is
yeah, right. That's awesome. So tell me about before our start of our show is you were talking to me about the last conversation you had with our mayor.
Oh yeah. Todd Gloria. Shout out to Todd Gloria. So I stood up and got to talk to the mayor, my wife and I, and that was last night. And we were just asking him, is there any way that we can partner with him to help the community understand the importance of their lot value? Because what's happening right now is we're going into areas in Southeast San Diego where Laura and I grew up, and we're explaining to them that they can do ADUs on their lot, and they're like, "What's an ADU?"
Yeah.
And in the mayor's defense, he responded, but like, everybody knows ADUs, and he's taking some statistics saying that in 2016 we only did 2 ADUs. Now we're at 150 something a year or something like that. That's a statistics, but what's going on is investors and people like you and I know about ADUs and the quote unquote black and brown communities, which he was addressing last night. They have no idea what that is.
It's funny that you bring that up. So I'll give you a little history. Okay.
Yeah.
So back in 2017, when I was flipping some properties, my margins were getting thin. So I was talking to some friends of mine. And I'm like, how do we pick up some of the value in this property? How can I make it look better on my numbers? Because it's just not working. And so most people did not want to add ADUs because in the flipping side, it's about speed, turning over property. Right. And I'm like, I really don't care about the speed as I care about the value. If I'm adding residential square footage to the property, cost for construction versus cost to resale, it makes sense to me because I'm just doing the math on it. It wasn't just under assumption. So I met with Senator Joel Anderson because something had sparked an interest that as a kid, I remember growing up, my parents converted their garage. My grandparents converted their garage.
Right.
My aunt and uncle converted their garage. And I came from Northern California where it was expensive.
Right.
But in San Diego, it was like an unheard of thing.
Yeah.
And so we were at an event. It was for veterans. And circled back, gave him a call. Said, hey, I know that housing's been a big issue. I'm going to host an event. Love for you to come speak. So talk to him, talk to, let me see, who else was there? It was, we had two of the San Diego City Council, Alvarez and Scott Sherman.
Right.
And so nobody knew about what ADUs was.
Right.
Right. And I believe in 2017, there maybe had either like 9 or a total of 21 total permits issued. Like it was like non-existent.
Right.
Right. We had about 300 realtors at a hotel just to talk to everybody about the whole thing with ADUs. And when talking with Joel, he said, hey, listen, in 2 weeks, we're going to be rolling this out for the state of California. We're putting it up for a vote. No way.
Right.
This is sick. Like, so it was kind of cool being a part of the very beginning of the process, but having to educate even the city, you know, the people that make the decisions,
right,
to even know what an ADU was.
I don't think that the city is very good at getting creative to solve problems, but I don't think that they can be everywhere and understand what the people that are actually in the industry are going through.
Yeah.
So they need people like us to give them an ear, like, hey,
yeah,
did you know that the complete community program that you're incentivizing, you know, by helping, you know, low-income housing is not actually helping the community yet. You know?
Exactly.
Did you
I was looking at it from like a greedy standpoint. I was like a greedy investor. How do I make more margin, right?
Yeah.
That was from my standpoint. How do I make my property cash flow better? Things like that. Yeah. But because my wheels were spinning. If I do one of these by San Diego State, if I do these over here, oh my God, I can pick more units. I can put more doors. You know, I'm thinking that, you know, Tom thinking. Right. But in reality, as we got more into it, we started to see how it affects multi-generational housing.
Right.
A lot of people want to keep their kids close by, have their parents be, you know, babysitting with their mom and have them like right next door to each other.
Right.
Or maybe you are the older person and you have to supplement that cash flow and you are living by San Diego State or by a university where you can rent out your garage. That's not making you any money right now.
Right.
Right. So it's very simple to just talk to an individual. Unfortunately, and again, I'll kind of finish my little story here. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So 2019, we were doing workshops. Southeast San Diego, believe it or not.
Oh boy.
So blame me. No, it's okay because I was on the council at the time. But we were going out to the community, and the county was really pushing for, you know, that outreach to teach people how to create this affordable housing and to use it as a supplemental income. Yeah, basically. That last event we did was in January. And I remember because COVID was coming around. Right. And I'm in a room with a lot of old people. There was about maybe 200 people were there. Kalani was there. Yeah. And anyhow, I remember being with all these older people and then somebody coughing. Uh-oh. That's what I did. I was all, uh-oh. Because nobody had masks on at the time. Like it started. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, crap. So then obviously that ended up shifting a lot of the narrative because it was starting to get really pushed into the communities. That was really the goals that we were doing. Yeah. We would get together. I did the one for the county, did the one for the city, and we were getting together to try to, like, you know, push this to the community. Yeah. But somehow, for some reason, it's really just stopped. Yeah. And it's unfortunate. Yeah, it is unfortunate. And thank you for giving back to that community because it's something that's on my heart. Now, I'm on both sides here because you know, I'm pro investor. I'm also an aspiring investor. I want to get the houses, you know, in the communities and build them up and flip them or buy and hold them and things like that. But I also want, you know, opportunities for, you know, the minorities in the community to, you know, take care of their. I got a kid that's in college right now, 19-year-old. You know. Convert the garage, let them live there instead of, you know, spending all this extra money for them to live on campus, you know, things like that. So that's kind of, I got two sides to it, and I got to, you know, take care of my family, but I also want to take care of the community, you know. And so I think that if we can merge the two in some kind of way, say, hey,
a community, we're incentivizing you to, add more value to your lot by doing ADUs. But also, here is a group of people that we know that can take care of that.
The ironic thing is in a lot of the communities, mostly Hispanic communities, we're crafty.
Mm-hmm. And do it yourself.
I'm speaking on behalf of minor folks.
Right.
Got a lot of bootleg units.
Right.
Okay. So the concept is there to bootleg the unit.
Yeah.
But then they don't necessarily understand the ramifications of doing that.
Yeah.
Down the line, when they want to sell a property, then they're going to lose the value of the garage that the appraiser would have given to it.
Yep.
Or it's a non-permitted unit.
Yeah.
Or it's not done in a workmanlike manner.
Yeah.
Right. So they can't reap the benefit of the extra ADU. My grandparents who passed away, my grandfather did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And they spent a bunch of money. My uncle went in there, spent a bunch of money adding this ADU in the back. It looked nice, right? But when you walked into the bathroom, there wasn't even a vent for the shower.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So there's little things that when you walked in, you're like, well, that's nice tile work. Where's the vent?
Yeah.
There's no window.
There's
so steamy. And he joked about it.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, sometimes I take a shower and then my family room's all fogged up. And I'm like, bro, you do understand this, there's no value in this.
Yeah.
You spend a bunch of money and it looks kind of good.
Yeah.
And you had really good intentions, but you didn't do it to spec.
So there's two sides of that. The first side is the county tax assessor cannot value your house at its proper value if you added that unit and didn't permit it.